In our Bagong Bayan Elementary School example, we might present it as something like this, right? So you have the grade, the total number of students, the number of cases, and the proportion with COVID-19. So a table like this will be more effective to summarize the data, right, of COVID-19 in your school, versus if you report it by sentence. In grade 1, we had 90 students, 12 of whom had COVID-19 cases, So this might, that is too wordy. And a table will be more effective in conveying the data of your surveillance in your school. So, okay. Next, so that's for tables, no? So for graphs are sometimes more useful than tables. And there are several types of graphs that public health professionals use in order to convey public health data more effectively. Okay, it is used in all forms. I said earlier that it's more common for visual or oral presentations, but you can, of course, use it for your written reports as well. Here are some of the commonly used graphs. I'm sure that the teachers are familiar with these graphs, but we will just go through them, refresh our knowledge of the different types of graphs. Okay, first is the very well-known pie chart. And in fact, nowadays, we don't like to use pie charts anymore. We like donut charts, okay, which is a variant of pie charts. So this is useful for proportions and comparisons. But if you will use a pie chart, it has to be at most 6 categories only, 6 or less, okay? If you have too many slices, it will be very confusing. So it should show percent and therefore should sum to 100%. Okay? So in our case, when we count our cases, our contacts or clusters, no, more of cases in school, it is very likely that you will use this a lot, no? The pie chart or the donut chart. Next, the line graph, another very popular form of data visualization. We use this when we want to show trends, right? Distribution or comparisons or trends. So when we have a line graph, we should have an x-axis, horizontal label, and a y-axis, a vertical label. And again, it's a graph. So you plot the points, then you connect them. So we see it's going up, going down, up and down, if it's flat, and all that. So this is also probably useful later on when you want to, if you want to just plot the number of cases, okay? Okay, bar graph, another very commonly used graph, and it will probably be appropriate for you also in school because it deals with comparisons and ranking. So it is ideal for variables or data, quantitative and qualitative, that have been categorized. It can be horizontal or vertical. So like here, this is, if this is, for example, age groups, you kind of group them together. Yeah, so it's continuous, but you make categories out of it, no? So bar graphs, so we use that to compare. Yeah, this one, let's see the axis. This is household population, and this is the provinces or administrative regions. So we check how many households, what is the population per administrative region here. Next is the stacked bar graph, variant of the simple bar graph. It can be simple stacked, like this one above, or 100% stacked. So this is when you have categories or classes within a category. And the total value is all the segment values added together. Okay? So stacked bar graph. Histogram, it looks like a bar graph, but it is not a bar graph, no? We like to show the distribution. Actually, this is very useful for your students, the grades, right? When you show the distribution of the grades of your students, you are probably going to report it as a histogram. So it shows the distribution of data, this one here, over a continuous interval or time period. Okay. This one is, well, it's like a histogram, but it's a histogram of two data sets. No, this one below here. But usually, if it's just one data set, there should be no space in between. It's really just showing distribution. Histogram. Sorry, box and whiskers plot. These are useful for, well, it is really comparison and distribution of continuous or ordinal data or non-parametric data or skewed data. If you want to show the mean, median, the line here, the P75 and P25, the minimum score and the maximum score. So sometimes you can also use this for grades, not really the COVID cases or what, no? It's more of the grades, no? So here it's called box and whiskers. Area graph, probably not as common for you, but I just wanted to show examples. So data over time and trends, 2% time series. So it can be a stacked area chart or a 100% stacked area chart. A scatter plot, if you wanted to show the relationship, for example, of two variables. So the dots here represent each object or each student or each person. Then you want to see whether there is a linear relationship or correlation. Maps, if it has something to do with areas or geographical areas, of course. When geography is a factor of interest. This might be of interest if later on, for example, you feel that you have a hotspot of anything. It can be like COVID, hotspot of dengue, and you want to plot how many cases are arising from which areas in the school or in the barangay or in the community. Then the way to do that is not really through your line or bar or donut charts. It's really through maps. Okay. So this above is a choropleth map, and this one below is a dot map. So this one may be quite familiar to you, the age sex pyramid, no? Usually for populations or distribution of age and sex. So it is done to see which age groups have the highest frequencies of whatever outcomes or diseases of interest you may be interested in.